By the time Jesus had recrossed in the boat to the opposite shore, a great number of people were gathered to meet him and were standing by the sea. One of the leaders of the synagogue, whose name was Jairus, came, and as soon as he saw Jesus, threw himself at his feet and begged him repeatedly, saying, "My little daughter is at death's door. Please come and place your hands on her, so she may recover and live." So Jesus went with him. A great number of people followed Jesus and kept pressing round him. Meanwhile, a woman who for 12 years had suffered from hemorrhage and had undergone much at the hand of many doctors, spending all she had without obtaining any relief, but on the contrary, growing worse. She heard about Jesus, came behind the crowd, and touched his cloak. "If I can only touch his clothes," she said, "I will get well." At once her bleeding stopped, and she felt in herself that she was cured of her affliction. Jesus at once became aware of the power that had gone out from him, and turning around the crowd, he said, "Who touched my clothes?" "You see the people pressing round you," exclaimed his disciples, "and yet you say, 'Who touched me?'" But Jesus looked about to see who had done it. Then the woman, in fear and trembling, knowing what had happened to him, came and threw herself down before him and told him the whole truth. "Daughter," he said, "your faith has delivered you. Go, and peace be with you. Be free from your afflictions." Before he had finished speaking, some people from the house of the synagogue leader came and said, "Your daughter is dead. Why trouble the teacher further?" But Jesus, overhearing what they were saying, said to the synagogue leader, "Do not be afraid, only have faith." And he allowed no one to accompany him except Peter, James, and John, the brother of James. Presently they reached the leader's house, where Jesus saw a scene of confusion, people weeping and wailing incessantly. "Why this confusion and weeping?" he said on entering. "The little child is not dead, but is asleep." They began to laugh at him, but he sent them all out, and then, with the child's father and mother and his companions, went into the room where she was lying. Taking her hand, Jesus said to her, "Talitha cum," which means, "Little girl, I am speaking to you. Arise." The little girl stood up at once and began to walk about, for she was 12 years old. And as soon as they saw it, they were overwhelmed with amazement. But Jesus repeatedly cautioned them not to let anyone know of it, and told them to give her something to eat.